So I've got 3 questions and a few props that I hope don't end up on the floor tonight. Could the tea towel be our most enduring symbol of a civil, warm society? What's the next one? Are your next door neighbours your key to survival? And what are you doing in the last weekend of March? Now, if I asked you, where's your tea towels? Is that too personal a question for you? I mean, not everyone asks you that kind of question. They're like, hello, where's your tea towels? But if I'm asking you that, it probably means I'm in your home. We've probably shared a meal. I'm giving you a hand with the dishes. What I'm really saying when I say, oh, where's your tea towels, is either I've spilled something on the floor, which happens, or I want to give you a hand. I want to contribute. I want to be part of this. I want to not be an outsider. I want to take part. And that's something good that we often do with our neighbours, of course. I've been thinking a lot about neighbours lately. And you know, some of us would be lost without our neighbours, and I've got an example of that coming up. But we'd also be lost without tea towels, wouldn't we? Not a safe method of drying dishes. So I'm working on this amazing project, Neighbours Day Aotearoa, and it's gotten me thinking about neighbours and tea towels and neighbours and tea towels. And there's some Ruth Pretty ones there. She sells tea towels. They've got to be good for you. And yeah, they keep the baking warm. They keep the flies off the salad. They hang messily on the oven. They make hats. They're as indispensable as our neighbours, and that's what Neighbours Day Aotearoa is all about. Taking a little bit of time for us to celebrate the great neighbourhoods that we have, lots of us, and if we've never even made eye contact with our neighbours, then it's about just maybe taking that first step and finding out that, you know, maybe they're not so bad after all, or even if they are quite bad, they may have something of value to offer you, and you might have something of value to offer them. This whole thing started a couple of years ago in a super little city north of here, where this beautiful woman in the photo, Rebecca, was working in a community. She did lots of knocking on doors and just asking people about what they wanted from community, and this overwhelming theme came through that people just wanted to be connected with their neighbours, but they didn't even know where to start. It's like the old cup of sugar thing has just been lost somewhere along the way. So she started a Know Your Neighbours project, and that grew in 2009 into a Neighbours Day in Auckland. Now, it's not about getting back to the days where we all leave our doors unlocked and you can buy K-bars in the tuck shop at school, stuff like that. By the way, I've got a K-bar here for Nick because I thought his story was so inspiring. It's not about having to be best friends with our neighbours either, but it's about the fact that actually a lot of us do care and are wanting to know our neighbours better. 66% of Wellingtonians, in some research in 2008, wanted to help improve our community and our neighbourhood. Half of Kiwis will collect mail for our neighbours when they're away. That's really nice. 15% of us have meals with our neighbours. Not so high in Wellington, which I found really interesting, given that we all have this fascination with food. We don't share it with our neighbours. So, you know, tea towels and neighbours and tea towels, it's all very good stuff. Imagine if we all lived in a friendly neighbourhood and knew our neighbours, and knew that we could go over for a cup of tea, or, you know, I need to make something, I need an egg, I need a Panadol because I was at Ignite last night and went to the St. John's party afterwards, stayed too long. And imagine knowing that your neighbours know where you are and might know what you need in an emergency. I got this amazing email through the neighboursday.org.nz website from a woman in Christchurch who has experienced it herself recently. You know, she said, look, the difference between me coping with this and not coping was the fact that I had a neighbour willing to knock on my door in the dark in the middle of the night. You've got time to read that, by the way, because I cheated and put it up twice. It's a cool email. So I'm really hoping that everyone will have a think about this and get to know their neighbours a little bit more. Is anybody interested in doing that? Because I've got a Neighbours Day tea towel for you. Sorry, anyone in this way? I don't know if I can throw that far. Excuse me. Got one more. So yeah, have a go. Think about your neighbours. Please visit the neighboursday.org.nz website, and there are some great ideas there. If you've already got a great neighbourhood, or if you've never even made eye contact, there's some suggestions of things that you can do. And just remember these 3 important things: that we'd be lost without tea towels, we'd be lost without our neighbours. Have a really good weekend on the 26th and 27th of March. that's the time to set aside to have some fun with your neighbours. And one more K-bar.